Hello beautiful peeps, welcome to Out the Brew Cupboard Chatty Ramble with me, Carly of Bardware. Hello everybody and welcome to the next, what are we on? Episode 14, I think, episode 14. I'm sounding a little flustered, the reason being 3 times I've tried to plug my headphones in and 3 times it hasn't worked. And then I've just figured out what it is. It's the case on my phone, which I record some of my podcasts on. I put the jack in, didn't want to play ball. I've had to take the case off to put them. Anywho, we're here now, aren't we? We're here. So today it's litha. We're on the 21st of June. We're on summer solstice. I think summer solstice, the actual solstice point, turns at about 3:57 this afternoon. But we're already in midsummer. We're already here in the middle of the year. So the old wonderful summer oak is well and truly flourishing. And just looking out my window briefly, Wiltshire, and there's this big band of grey cloud suddenly appeared from somewhere or the other. I'm not denying that we need it in a minute, because we do. Litha, one of our wonderful Sabbaths, summer solstice, all in one hit. So what are you up to today? What have you been doing? How have you celebrated? I know there's a lot of friends of mine that have been to Avebury. There's some that have been to Stonehenge. There's some that are just finding their own space and their own place to be at that time in the morning. I tell you what is really strange. One thing I've noticed this morning is normally the birds outside my window, open the window, and the birds are really chattery and they're twittering away like, no tomorrow. And this morning they're really quiet. Everything's really quiet. So I think it's quite interesting, because I think even though this is a time of, and it is really a time of sunshine and rejoicing and that turning point in the year, and it's not the turning point that everything's going to go. I know everything's starting getting shorter and everyone goes, oh, the winter's coming in, but it's also that high point of the year, isn't it? It's that point we get to. And my granddad always used to say, all good things must come to an end yet to start again. It doesn't always help. But we're at that high point of the year. We've got, we're in the middle of June. We've still got the rest of June to go. We've got July. We've got August. We've got Lammas coming up. We've got the start of the first harvest. We've got all sorts of wonderful stuff going on. So, yes, we're at that point. And yes, a lot of people go, oh, that's it. It's all changing. Winter's coming in. But we're also at a point of change. But what the really interesting thing is I was wondering today and sat there listening, and I'm supposed to be going out the door to go and do Gigi's. I am going. But I just wanted to come up and literally, it's going to be the most shortest podcast ever, but it may well plant a few seeds. I'm wondering whether or not, no pun intended. I'm just wondering whether or not nature is trying to tell us something today. So, you could look into everything and create something. Oh, there's a goldfinch outside my window. Now, normally when I get goldfinches appear, and I've not seen them for a while. Now, goldfinches and wrens to me have 2 specific things. If I have a specific goldfinches are around all over the time, and they have certain, they do come into Britain at this time of year. And especially when you obviously get the tweezle heads, they're seed feeders, so they'll feed on things like that. But when I actually see them and they make themselves known to me, Jenny wrens and goldfinches, it's normally my nana and my granddad coming in and just going ooh and disappearing again. To me, that's what I feel it is. A lot of people have robins, but I have goldfinches. So yeah, that sort of made me have a thought pattern. Anywho, but I'm just wondering whether or not the breeze has dropped. The world seems a little bit quieter today. The birds aren't chattering away. They're flying around. I can see them, but they're not twittering like they normally do. Perhaps they've got nothing to chat about. I don't know. But something was just sort of saying to me today, just with all this busyness going on and all this mass celebration and everything, don't forget to find time for yourself. Don't forget to find that space. And I think we need to look at, and I know a lot of people enjoy going to Stonehenge, and I think a lot of people enjoy going to Avebury. But don't feel as though you have to do that when it comes up to the solstices. Find your own little space to be. You don't have to go. I mean, a lot of people want to go, that's great, but you don't feel as though you have to go there. You can sit out in your back garden or find the highest point local to you and go and find that space. Just remember that you don't have to follow the tribe. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Just remember to be yourself and just sit in that. Just sit with yourself. I don't think a lot of us sit with ourselves enough. Although we get told a lot to sit with, find our quiet space. We get told to take time for ourselves. We get told to do this. We get advised to do this. We get advised to find that spot where you can just sit and breathe. But maybe we need to find, even if it's just sat on the edge of your bed or sat on the sofa, that sitting with yourself, because I think when I mean sitting with yourself, there's loads of terminology. It's really driving me mad. There's loads of terminology out there, like holding space and stuff, that needs to be sort of dissected and put into layman's terms of what people actually mean. And because I also think a lot of terminology is thrown around, but do we actually know what is underneath all that? We're using the same terminology, but do we actually know what's underneath all that? Do we actually know what that terminology is? And that's something I'll address on another podcast another day. But actually sitting with yourself. And I don't mean as in, well, it could be a meditative state, but actually looking at you. I suppose, well, in a way, it's like being mindful, again, another terminology. But that is sitting and taking a stock of life around you, how you react. Are you having enough quiet time to yourself? What do you really enjoy doing? What should you make more space for? What should you let go? What would be better for you? And it's not being selfish. It is literally sitting with yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. And because I don't think any of us really have a proper conversations with ourselves, we always sit there and something else gets in the way, or we're not honest enough with ourselves. So I think nature is telling us at the minute just to be quiet and sit with who we are. And I also think we need to not worry about having this, some of us still, and there's nothing wrong with this, some of us I think still have this uniform, and we all still do it. But if when people first meet you, you're very bubbly and out there and and blah, 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 and it's so amazing, da, 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 da. If they have all that from you, if later on when you see them, you're not feeling great or you're not feeling like going blah, 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 then you don't have to put that mask up. So it is like being you, being honest and being quiet within yourself. There's a lot of people are worried about going within themselves because they then think that it's going to be a slippery slope down. And when I mean going within, I mean just, if you want to be a hermit for a couple of days, then be a hermit for a couple of days. Doesn't mean it's going to be a slippery slope down. Just means you're stock taking. Let's put it that way. We're having a restock and a stock take. For a few hours, a day, whatever, because we all need that space. So I think the birds and nature are just saying today, yes, it's a high point in the year, but also just sit in being with yourself and take a stock of where you are, what you've done, where you've become, what you're planning to do, what you don't need, that type of thing. So it is also getting all your ducks in a row a little bit before the first harvest begins, really. So it's a bit like that. So, yes, take a note of what nature's doing around you. Listen to the trees and the birds. I think they could answer for a lot. And if you go with your first intuition and gut instinct of what you hear, then you can guarantee that most of the time that's sort of maybe what you should be following. But that's what I thought today. It could be another matter somewhere else. So I shall love you and leave you because I best get on and do my stuff. Have a cracking rest of summer solstice or winter solstice on the southern hemisphere. If you're listening to me on the other side of the world, just let me know. Just drop us a note and let us know how things are going on the other side of the planet. But anyway, have a cracking rest of the day or evening, and I will catch up with you all very soon. Lots of love and blessings. Take care. Bye.